Hello everyone, Douglas here, and welcome to my review of Wedding Crashers. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong review. Wait a minute. Let me start over. Hello everyone, Douglas here, and welcome to my classic Doctor Who review, and today I will be reviewing the Aztecs. If you are like my friend Michael and thought that I was done with classic Doctor Who after the Keys of Marinus, you might be saying to me, what were you thinking? I'm still going. This story is the second one to be written by John Lucarotti, who wrote Marco Polo, and this is the only John Lucarotti story that still survives. This story is the first full story to be directed by John Crockett, and I have seen this story before, but I have not watched it in a long time. This story does deal with the consequences of changing history. When John Lucarotti was writing this, he was fascinated by the Aztec civilization. In episode 1, called The Temple of Evil, we start off where we left off from the Keys of Marinus, and we are inside the tomb, and we see Barbara, played by Jacqueline Hill, and Susan, played by Carol Ann Ford, and they notice the Aztec stuff. We see that Susan discovers a door, and we see a high priest. We see the first doctor, played by William Hartnell, and Ian, played by William Russell, and we find out that Barbara is gone. We see the door closes, and they can't get back to the TARDIS. And we see the doctor, Susan, and Ian are greeted by the high priest, and his name is Utlock, and he is played by Keith Piot. We see the doctor, Susan, and Ian are reunited with Barbara, and she is wearing an Aztec dress, and that is impressive. We find out from Barbara that the Aztecs think that Barbara is a reincarnation of the priest that was in the tomb, and she is called Yitex. We see Ixta, played by Ian Cullen. We see the doctor meets Kamika, played by Margaret Van der Berg. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing this. We find out from Ian that there is going to be a human sacrifice, and I'm not liking the sound of this. Ian wants to stop it, but the doctor says it has to happen, and that is a very interesting dilemma. We find out from Barbara that she is not going to have a human sacrifice, and the doctor knows it has to happen. And we hear this iconic line from the doctor: "You can't rewrite history, not one line." Unless if it's Stephen Moffat who says time can be rewritten. No, it can't. We see the sacrifice is happening, and we see Barbara stops it. And Barbara, what were you thinking about rewriting history? And we see Wayne. We see that Totoxo is going to kill Barbara, and that is the end of episode 1. In episode 2, called The Warriors of Death, we see the doctor is not happy what Barbara did. We see the doctor smiles, and he has an interest with Kamika. The doctor finds out that Ixta is going to fight Ian, and the doctor accidentally gives Ixta the poison, so oops. We see Ian and Ixta stop their fighting contest, and we see Ian gets poisoned, and Ian is still fighting. And we see Barbara stops the fight. We hear Totoxto tells Barbara, if you are Ixta, save him. And that is the end of episode 2. In episode 3, called The Bride of Sacrifice, we see Barbara is threatening to kill Totoxo if Ian gets killed. We find out that the next sacrifice is in 3 days. I like the doctor's line when he says, "I serve the truth. Help me, Totoxo, and I promise you, you will find it." And that is a burner line. We see the doctor accidentally proposes to Kamika and "Take that, River Song." We see Barbara tells Totokso that Barbara is not Yixta. One of the funniest scenes is when we see the doctor is surprised that he accidentally proposed to Kamika. Barbara finds out from Utlock that Susan is the one to be punished. We see Ixta puts the stone back and Ian is trapped in the tunnel and there is water. And that is the end of episode 3. And episode 4 called The Day of Darkness. We see Ian is trying to get out of the tunnel and the doctor is trying to save him. And we see Ian find a way back into the tomb. We find out that Totokso wants Ixta to knock out Otlock and frame Ian. We see Kamika rescues Ian and Susan. We see the final showdown with Ian and Ixta, and that is awesome. And Ian wins, and Ixta falls to his death. We see the doctor and his companions go back to the tomb. They have failed, and they had to because they cannot rewrite history. And it is a bittersweet ending to this story. Inside the TARDIS, we find out the controls. Some say it stopped moving, and the other controls say they are still moving. And that is the end. I really like this story, and it's a classic. And in this story, it tells you that you cannot change Earth's history. I will admit, the sets and costumes look impressive, and they did spend the budget for this. The cast is really good, and William Hartnell gives his best performance in this story. The music by Richard Rodney Bennett is really good, and I can't get enough of that soundtrack. And the direction by John Crockett is great, and I would give this story a 10 out of 10. So, that is my review of the Aztecs. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And if there is a classic Doctor Who story you want me to review next, leave it in the comments. And I will see you all next time.